time comes, don't postpone it. When others doubt and out, you don't condone it. Truth be told, yourself is your toughest opponent. When your moment comes, grab hold and own it. Never let go, stand tall and hold tight. Overcome an obstacle.
Welcome to Man vs. Theta. I'm Spectre, and today we're going to be going over today's watch list for July 17th. Let's jump right into it. Try to do this watch list a bit faster than usual. Of course, today's the second time, so anyways, let's go through the watch list here. All right, so basically, context from the watch list was set, saying we're thinking there's going to be more consolidation today with a little bit of a bias to the upside, but just not really. I was actually a little bit worried that they were going to bleed the contracts today, so we were going to stay in a tight range and get bled. I mean, there was definitely some trade opportunities in there, but not like what we've had in the last few weeks. So if it was going to be kind of a big range or something that I really love, I was planning to be sidelined and not take any trades. And so I think the context was okay, and hopefully a good warning for folks to not expect big moves unless these key levels were broken. 321.50 to the downside. I mean, to 321.50 as an interim level, 322.50 to the upside, and 319 to the downside. So let's take a look and see how that actually played out. Okay, so what do we have here? We had actually in the pre-market, we ended up ripping a bit, got up to 322s, and then we got a dump early on from the open, sold for the first hour of the day, and we got to 320. We didn't get to 319, so we didn't break that to the downside, and we had a little bit of an upside bias. So after that selling, got a higher low, and then we started grinding, and we topped out at that 322.50. So we were basically range bound for that day. Today was a little bit better than yesterday's, where it was just straight up, down, up, down, up, down. Today we had some range to the downside at the open, and then range and grind back up. So there was a little bit of opportunity there, but it's still a bit chop. I mean, it wasn't smooth sailing. All right, so let's go to the next ticker on the watch list, and let's see what. Okay, the Tesla. So yesterday, more range of consolidation. We have ER coming up next week, so I'm looking for a breakout of the consolidation over 1530, and then it can run back in anticipation. Now, here's the challenge with this ticker today: is check it out. At the open, it had. Take a look. Whoops. Guys, okay, take a look. So at the open, it got to 1530, but it popped. But the thing is, this kind of a candle, that doesn't mean, hey, we're right through 1530, we're going to go forever, right? It pushed, came right back down underneath 1530. It came again, pushed, and failed. So I consider that a level that failed. You might want to look at going short there when you see that. So if there was definitely an opportunity here. Let's just say that you wanted to risk $500. And risk 1 point after it broke this 1530 level. You could say, hey, you know what? This candle up here, 1535. I'm going to take 100 shares short, risk $500, right? Or you can do a contract, but in this case, I'm just to keep the number simple for the number of points. And let's just say we did common shares. And so, anyways, risking say $500, 5 points. If you took 100 shares short here, risking that 500 and traded it off the open. It dropped, and let's just say, hey, down into 1500, good enough. Like I like to go for a 3-to-1 or 2-to-1 risk reward. So risking 5 points here, we're looking for 10 to 15 points on the downside. So from 1530, let's say even got in, right around 1530, and we had 30 points of range here. So even if you waited a little bit longer and risked to 1530 and define it, but you want to define that risk. I'd say this was a good risk-reward opportunity here. And let's just say that we got, of the 30-point range, let's just say we locked in half after 10 points and another half after 20 points. So we got 15 points. So I would say that there's an opportunity there for roughly, say, $1,500 to $2,000, risking $100. I mean, $500. So let's just say that for argument's sake, that today on this trade there was an opportunity of, say, $1,500 or $500. Okay. So I'm just putting that in the trade results, but let's look at that as some opportunity from watch list, using the levels that are from the watch. Okay, let's move on to the next ticker. Okay, Apple. We have the Apple chart. This didn't really work out so much, but let's just say that you took a stab at it based on what was written in the watch list. So looking at 386 as support, and then you got a risk to 384 down here. And so let's say you got long around 386 after that initial drop down into 386, and I wouldn't have been getting long, or say that you did, right? Now, so you say you were doing 386 and want to risk to, say, 384 or break of 384. So at that point, getting long, if you're risking 2 points, you can only do, say, 200 shares, right? And I know we're option centric and haven't had time to set up a good way of tracking the option contracts and which ones to select, and that'll be in another video at some point. So let's just look at the points. So in this case, we're going to risk $500, risking. So let's say it took 200 shares right here at 386. It dropped to 384, and then went down to 380, 350. You're kind of sweating it, and you're saying, you know what? I hit my 500. I'm not going to hold it. It broke 384, and so you want to stop out. So that's okay. Let's just call that as a loss, right? So 386, 384 stopped out. Let's say that you waited till 380, 350 and stopped out. So let's just say this is a loss. And though if you had waited and used that 384 as a level, you could have gone long for this loss. But let's call it a loss trade. So anyways, that would be, let's knock that down. Let's take $500 off. We're at 1,000. All right. Now, I'm not going to count this, but the other trade opportunity that came here, and I did get a couple of messages in Discord, was that, hey, Apple's down to that 383, 384 level, and they liked it for a long, and I think they took it as a long. And if they did, the risk here now, you can go same situation, 383, 384, came back up over the 384 level. Say, hey, I'm going to risk 1 point, so 500. You can take 500 shares, or a contract that would have given you the equivalent in options. And let's see how that played out for the day. So if you took that and then you said, hey, you know what? I'm just going to write it back up to that previous level that was important at 386. Could have risked 500, and when it got back to 386, that would have been 2 points, and risking 1 point, and that's $1,000 for 500 shares. Now, of course, you'll want to do the same thing in contracts for smaller accounts that can't buy 500 shares. But the concept and the point range was definitely there. Too, but we're not going to count that in the trade results because I wasn't saying, hey, let's wait till 384 and see how that holds. All right, let's move on to the next watch list. Okay, LRN. Now this one was great. So what we had here is the plan was basically we don't want to chase, we want to wait for pullbacks, right? And ideally at the open, we were looking for a pop. We wanted to see a push up into 50 to 52 at the open, and then let's see profit taking and dump, ideally into 46. And if it dumps 46 right at the open, then we want to flip and go the other side where we want to look for the push at 50. So we wanted to see what the open was like. I have no idea how it's going to be, but I had a plan for both situations. And so let's take a look at the chart. Okay, we got a push. Right at the open, right into the 50. right? So 50, 52, let's just say that we're risking to 52. It came back under 50. We get short. And let's say we got in short at 49.50. We're going to risk 1 point. And let's just say we're going to risk one. Let's even be more. No, I think that's about right because it was quick pop and drop. So let's use 50, 51. We'll use 1 point for the risk. I just have like the way I trade this is I'll put in a starter short entry here, like at 50.20 or something. And then another one up there at 52 if I was not paying attention to the chart itself correctly. But let's just say we got in, it rejected, jumped in 49.50. We're going to risk 1 point to that high for that 46 flush, right? So look, check it out. Pushed right into 50 and dumped right to the 46 area. So if you got short 49.50, risking 1 point, 500 shares for the 46 level. That is, and actually it went down to 45.50, but let's not count that. Let's just say right to 46. So we have 1, 2, and let's see, 46.50, 3 points. Let's just say 3 points. So 3 times 500 would be $1,500, risking $500. I think that math is right. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. But yeah, so we're going to add 1,500 to our total here for the day from opportunities from the watch list. Okay, and again, we're always looking to risk $500 to make 1,000 to 1,500 or 2,500 or something. Always just limiting our risk to a certain dollar amount and looking for great entries on great trade setups. So that, I think LRN was spot on for the idea. And then once it got into the 46 level, start looking for support for a long, in which case we did get a bounce up into 48 and then a fail. So LRN will be interesting to see. It can go either way. It may need to consolidate and pull back into 40 to 42, 44 before it goes to 60 plus. I definitely believe that LRN can go to 50 plus in coming weeks. Possibly as much as 60 to 100, but we'll have to see if more schools start shutting down and going online only. Okay, let's get back to the watch list next. All right, Amazon, I did not pay attention to this or trade this, so let's just see what happened. I did not look at this chart today at all. So looking for dips on 29.80, risk to 29.60 for 3,000 plus, and then if SPY clears 323, then 3,100. So I was mentally prepared for us to break out of the consolidation, and if it did, had a game plan for that. But so let's see what happened. Okay, for Amazon, so we had that gap up push. We were already over the 3,000. So again. So at this point, there really wasn't a trade plan for me. If anything, it was for the short, but I didn't set or define that in this one here. So you could have seen that double top here and then gone short off the open or waited for it to break 3,000 level. Say, hey, I think it's going to go to 29.80, 29.60 area, and target that for the short. So let's just say that one did that, right? And so got short on this 3,000 level, risking up to that 30.20, the high day. And if you took this as a short off that 3,000 being that level, that key level, now 20 points, we're going to need to risk, we're going to need to risk 20 points, right? So that would be in 500 shares, that'd be what? 10, 20, 50 shares, 20 points would be 5. I can't even do the math right now. I'm so tired. Let's just say 10. Yeah, so 10 shares, $10, $100. So 25 shares. Yeah, 25 shares. Okay, would have been your risk, and then if you took 25 shares here and went to 29.80 and 29.60, I think it met the 2-to-1 risk reward because we had 20 points of risk and we had 20, and at 29.60 down here. We had the 40 points of reward for 20 points of risk. So met the 2-to-1, risking 500 could have made $1,000 in this. I'm not going to count this. I didn't pay attention to it or alert on it. and I'm just going to say no trade, and let's move on. Well, actually, there's another point on this. Like dips on 2980, so you could have gotten long off this 2980 test right here. Got long, and then that would have popped up into 3,000, and that gave you a 20-point move. I think there's definitely an opportunity here, and I'm not going to count a dollar amount on it, but I'm sure some folks made some money off of play. I think it was a good read to see or expect a bounce off of this level. There just wasn't follow through to and recover and hold over VWAP, and then it failed. So at worst, probably should have stopped out, break even on this pullback. Okay, next watch list ticker. Okay, DKNG. This has been a monster swing. If you took the 32 calls with me that I alerted in the Black Box Discord room, a while ago, I grabbed the 32 calls for 55 cents. I think on Monday or Tuesday, down in this action. Right? I think it was down here, or I think it might have been over here, but yeah, it was on Tuesday, so it was back over there. Anyways, 32 calls, 55 cents at the open here. I mean, look at that. That's almost $5. So almost a 10 bagger. That's yeah. So when I say 10 bagger, that means that if you had $500 ins on something, you could have sold it for $5 grand. Actually, it's really like 9x. Okay. Let's take a look. So the text said monster swing, ideally dips on 36. Sorry, I didn't change the chart, but you'll chart right now. I do dips on 36 for rips back into 38 to 40. So here's the thing that needs from the watch list right now. If I say it dips on 36 and it flushes through it, that means that level that I was looking, that was a key level, it broke. That does not mean you go long there, right? Now, I had an order in, just a starter order, quarter size at 36, and I got in, and it jumped down here, and I got stopped out. But it was only quarter size, so I think you know, on a 500 risk situation, I lost like $100 or $150. Not a big deal. I didn't care. The trade plan, as soon as it broke that 36, turned it from a long into a short. They could have jumped here, came back to 36, tested and failed. Could have got short and wrote it down into this low here at 35, 34. But bottom line, the idea was there. The chart action did not play through for the setup that I wanted. So I'm going to write down minus $150. But reality, not really a trade there. But just because of I had the starter position in there and I cut it, I'm going to knock off. Something else. Okay, the 1350. All right, so let's move on to the next item. Okay, so we have Adobe, and let's take a look at the chart. So basically looking for a higher low from yesterday, and I like it long for dips. May take some time to play out. And so earlier I was talking about it going up back up to 450, I believe, this week. And again, we just ran into consolidation for the week rather than more upside. And then if we broke the 415 level, there was definitely an opportunity for a short if that happened. So let's take a look at the chart. And so for Adobe, we had some consolidation on the open right here. We had that flush at the open, consolidated off the 424 level. And so after this is set, failed breakdown, starts going up again, reclaims, can get long, say right here around 426, 427, 426.50, risking to 450, risking 2 points. So let's just say 200 shares, 250 shares. That's the $500, and then write it for the day, risking 250. So it stops here. for $500 loss, or let's see what happens for the grind for the day for the upside. So the 426.50, it got to 432.50, let's just say. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points with 250 shares. So that's 503. That's $1,500 risking 5. Yeah, so 6 points, 2 and 3. So okay, so let's add $1,500 on this. So that would be 20, 50. Okay, let's keep going. Next ticker on the watch list. Okay, VRNA. Now this thing was amazing. I mean, I can't. I don't know how to even describe that. This played out to the just completely played out perfectly. So dips on 880 and 820 to hold. Ideally 780 would even be better for an entry, and then risk 50 cents per dip, and until it kind of works. So there's a few different ways to play that, but if you got in at 880 when risking 50 cents, it goes down to 830. Then you want to kind of maybe cut it, see what happens with 820, and if it works, okay, go back in. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to say averaging and just getting into an average first, and then risking a point. Anyway, so let's see. Let's take a look at the chart. Okay, so the morning. Okay, so the morning action, we had this double top 1050, got heavy, sold off, and I was looking for that 880 level to hold. We had a dip here, pushed, came back down, flushed again. Probably would have got in 880, bounced it, and it failed. Stop out flat, let it come down, or stop out minus 10, 20 cents. And then revisit at 820, right? For the purpose of our thing, let's just say we're risking a point, and we averaged. So we want to risk, say, at worst, that if it drops down to 750, because I'm saying I wanted 780. Let's just say that we're going to use an 850 average and stop at 750. So we grab 200 shares at 850 or 880. Going, okay, hey, if it breaks down, we don't want to be more than 500 shares at 850 average. Gets to 820 at another couple hundred shares. So we're red a little bit, maybe from 880 we're down maybe $160, something like that. Gets to 820. We're now 400, and we're probably around minus 300 right around this point, at which point it starts continuing. And then adding a couple more shares once this it makes a higher low. And let's just say that we're at 500 shares now with an 850 average and stops at 750. Just doing this to keep the numbers simple. I end up, the way I trade this is once this is crossing, I start adding more position size and tightening up my stop. So I still want to risk $500, but I get my size way up. So that's an advanced technique. I'll go over that in a future video, but for now, let's say 500 shares at 850 average, stops at 750. And then the goal on this was 10 plus. And then later in Discord, I had mentioned that the target on this for me was $12 to $14 based on the price action of where I think it can. So the initial push was up into 12, and let's just say that, hey, we got to 10, we took half off. So 850, or let's just say we took most of it off, right? Risking 1 point, got to 10. So 850, and that's roughly $250, so $750 we lock in, leave a runner, get another couple hundred points up there. So I'd say $900 in here. It actually got all the way to 14, but that would have required holding here, pull back, adding, and you could. There's definitely multiple trades here, but let's just say you held just to the $12 target, secondary target for half and half. So that does that's 10, 12, 11. That's an average. So 850, 11 minus 850 is $2.50, I think. With 500 shares would be $250. So let's just say with some chop or whatever and taking partials, let's just say we made 1,000 just to make it to under benefit. Okay, so 3850 with VRNA so far for the day and opportunities. All right, so let's go to the next ticker. I know this is a long one. I really apologize. This is the last ticker. Let's go to back to the watch list. It's Netflix. So I'm looking for some gap fill, ideally because we had a big drop, and I was ideally looking for a push into 500 to 510. It did have multiple price targets, so if it's so if long, so if you're long biased, consider going long on a dip versus 478 for the long. If short biased, look for a failed push into 500 to 5. Should give decent range and trades in both directions. I didn't have a real good read about how it's going to play out at the open, but overall I was thinking that we're going to see 500 plus at the open. And so let's take a look at how the how it played out on the open. Okay, so we opened down here at 492 or so, and we ripped right up into the 5. So we weren't at the level that I wanted to be long, right down at the 478, 480, but we ripped right into the 500 to 50, 510 area. So as soon as it pushed up into 500 and failing, you could have got short. And let's just say risking to, after this double top, you're going to risk to this high. So 504, get short, say 499, risking 5 points, 100 shares. Target is roughly that 484, 485 area. And so this, how did it play out? Let's take a look. So we say that we're short from 499 here. We got a nice fast drop here, 488, 489. It covered here for roughly 12 points, risking 5 points. I think that's great. So let's say we risked same situation, 100 shares, 5 points, $500, get 12 points of gain. So that's $1,200. So let's add that to our list for the day. And so that would put us at 1,050, I believe. Okay. And that's good enough, right? 2 to 1 risk reward for what I'm looking for. 2 to 3 to 1. We actually pushed all the way to 45. I think I did alert this in the Discord channel, and we had a couple of opportunities on the option side that I mentioned those trades. I can't actually remember the trade, so I'm going to pull it up in Discord right now, and let's take a quick look and see what happened, and see if Discord app's still available. Okay, so we had 480 puts bought at 275, and the target was 480 to 485, stops at 250. So I was risking basically 25 cents. It went right into 375 to 420 really quickly, and actually did it twice. And so that gave a nice 2 to 1, 3 to 1 risk reward, and that worked out nicely. Actually, that was what, 25 cents and 125. So that was 150. So risking 25 cents. That's 6 to 1 risk reward. So that was an okay trade. It was a bit late in the overall game. I wish I kind of got in at the end of the 500 push, but I was kind of still dealing with some overnights and just sitting back and watching to see how things. Anyways, let's that's the watch list for the day. I'm sorry for the long video. What is it? 30 minutes today. Wow, I thought I was gonna try to get it shorter. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. I will find a way to make these shorter, so please bear with me. Hope the explanations are helpful about taking the watch list and how to potentially trade them. That there is definitely money to be made, and you don't have to risk a lot of size. Play the bigger picture, play the levels that are talked about, and look, risking $500 and probably about 6 trades later, if you're risking 500 with the right setups and you trust the ranges and the levels, could have made maybe $5 grand today. So opportunity is there. Have the look for defined risk reward. It's okay, take your losses, because you know what, you're going to find another trade that's going to pay you, and don't try to force stuff. That's the biggest thing, right? And if there weren't trades, then don't take any. You're not comfortable with something, it's okay. You'll make more money or build your account faster by not losing money than you will by constantly trading and trying to force a trade to work. Save your account, save yourself some headache, and save yourself some tears. Be patient and trade well. And remember, you do deserve some great profits. So just set your trades up so that they'll give them to you. All right. Again, back to the outro. Thanks. Remember to subscribe and to share this video. And thank you again for watching. Take care, all.